good morning to you. Thanks for joining us from West Michigan Community Mental Health.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We are, and you've been on before, and the knowledge that CMH has that you're able to deliver is incredible for those that live in our listening area, which includes Mason, Lake, and Oceana counties, where you have offices. CMH has offices to be able to serve the community. In general, that's a good thing when you have a community connection and you don't have people that have to drive very far, I would assume. Is that right?
Yeah, we have offices in all three counties so that we can serve folks that live in all corners of Mason Lake and Oceana counties. And we really appreciate, Chris, that you offer us this opportunity to have a
Yeah.
voice in the community about what we do.
Well, and you're certainly welcome, but I'll tell you the ability to be able to have the information that you pass on to the listeners and the viewers is incredible, and I think it's an important part of it's an important part of our model at the radio stations, but of course yours too. That the more you can get information out to the community members, the more they know that they have access to help, and I think that's an incredible part of your mission. So I'm glad that we're able to have this conversation this morning too, especially when it comes to the topic that we're going to be chatting about, which is specialized residential services.
Mhm.
And when people think of CMH, or at least when I have in the past, I've thought, okay, it is come in, sit down in a room, either one on one or with individuals that are peers or others that are knowledgeable or have experienced what you're going through. But CMH completely surprises me all the time, and with this topic as well, with the specialized residential services. So
Mhm.
take us through what that is to start, and then let's kind of deep dive into it, if you don't mind.
Sure. So you mentioned that you think of outpatient services, which
Mhm.
is by far the most common service we offer. Most of the people that we serve by far are coming in and spending an hour or two in our office getting services, and then they go home. But for some of the folks that live in our three counties, they have intense needs that require intense supports 24/7.
Okay.
So specialized residential is our most intense service that is an ongoing service. This is care that's provided in a licensed 24-hour care facility or a home. Um,
Whoop. Oh, we lost her. We'll get Betsy back on here in just a second. We'll wait for her to rejoin us. Sometimes we we can have a glitch there or two, but it won't be long before they'll pop back on here in just a second, and then we'll continue our conversation this morning with Betsy Reed-Henry, the director of Network Quality Improvement and Compliance there at CMH. So we'll wait till they jump back into the conversation here in just a matter of moments. Again, something that you can listen to on the radio stations as well as our Facebook pages, Mom FM and Hot Country Hits, as well as our YouTube channel. So we'll give them a moment to reconnect here on Mom FM and Hot Country Hits. As Betsy was talking about, the 24/7 care and support for individuals with CMH as part of the specialized residential services there with complex needs, even before we get too far into it, we want you to write down this phone number. It's 800-992-2061. That's CMH's phone number. And even in this conversation that we're having today, or any of the other conversations that CMH has, just know that that's something that you can contact them on. So we'll wait for Betsy to jump back on here in a second. Let's see if we can send them a quick message to see if they are having any issues on their end. Let's see. There we go. And let's see. Okay, there we go. Got the notification there. All right, let's go ahead and get Betsy right back in. Betsy, we lost you for a second there, but glad you're back on. And thanks for joining us. We knew that you're in good hands. Sometimes, some technical issues happen, but Lori and your team are pretty awesome there. You were mentioning that you provide 24/7 care and support. Take us from that point, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. So these services are for individuals that really would not be able to live in the community if they didn't have 24/7 care in a facility like a specialized residential home. So we're talking folks that really have the most intense needs of those that we serve. So they're provided in licensed adult foster care homes or group homes. They're licensed by the state of Michigan to provide this type of care. And
Okay.
the goal of the service is to support the person to live in a home setting, and then also to teach skills so that that person can have the maximum level of independence that they personally can achieve. Um,
Okay. Okay. Give us can we do a quick scenario, of this, or an example at all that doesn't infringe on anybody's rights, of course. We don't
sure.
want to get too specific.
Yeah, I can give a very general, just made up scenario.
Okay.
So sometimes when folks come to us, they've been living at home with mom and mom and dad have providing all this person's needs. Well, mom and dad may be getting older, maybe one parent passes away, and it's too much for, let's say, mom to continue caring for, we'll call him John, at home. So mom would bring John into our office to get an assessment to see if this is the right service. Let's say
Okay.
in this example, John has a developmental disability, and this is why he needs this level of support to be cared for at home. So if he qualifies for our service, then we would start the process of looking for an appropriate home that meets his needs. Um, Mom and John would take a visit and see if they like the home. They'd meet the staff. The staff would also see if John is a good fit to live in this home because there's usually another maybe 4 or 5 people living in the home.
Okay.
Maybe there will be a roommate, so we have to see if that's going to be a good fit.
Mhm.
And then let's say it is a good fit. So we have a move-in date, and then John moves in, and we have a person-centered plan of services for John that specifically lays out for the staff all the things that John was going to be working on while he's learning some independence. Maybe he's going to be learning how to shower himself, or maybe he's going to be learning how to do laundry, um, or maybe all of those things, and what kinds of outings he likes to go on. Maybe he will be going home for dinner with mom 2 nights a week, and staff will be transporting him home, or mom will come pick him up. So that will all be detailed in the plan of service. And we really do see that individuals living in this get excellent care and sometimes even are able to learn more and grow more than they could at home because they're in a new environment and working with staff who can even assist them with maximizing their independence a little bit more. So that's one way it might look.
Okay, this makes sense. Does it, with those individuals, is there a lot of transitional period? Is it difficult for them to make this step?
Can be. Yes, it can be. Our direct care workers in the homes that we contract with are really very special individuals who do a wonderful job providing that home-like environment and caring and truly, I mean, they do really truly care about the individuals that they help. I think folks are drawn to that profession because they love caring for people. And I think that that really helps ease the transition for a lot of folks.
All right. If you are just joining us, we're talking with Betsy Reed-Henry, Director of Network Quality Improvement and Compliance there at West Michigan CMH. Uh, how do you provide this service, if you don't mind? I mean, does CMH have facilities? But it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like these are homes that
They are
people go
home.
to.
Yes.
Um, okay.
Mhm. Yeah, they are homes, and we directly don't provide the service. We contract with a network of providers. Um, some CMHs do own and operate residential homes, but we leave this work to the experts. We contract with a pretty large number of organizations that operate homes, both within our 3-county area and outside our 3-county area. Um,
Okay.
and then those places provide, and also the direct care staff. They usually also own the home. They may lease it, but they usually also own the home itself, and it's a home in a neighborhood, next to other homes where families live. And then we have a contract with them to provide the service. We write the individual plan of service for each person that's living in the home to kind of direct what that person's goals are and what their needs are.
Okay, good information here. And I think that's important is that you're assessing, you're talking with potentially the parents, the individual, to be able to make sure that it's most comfortable. Obviously, that transition from one environment to another, because I would assume that can be the most difficult part, right? Uh, saying goodbye or letting go a little bit of one environment into a totally new environment. That must be difficult for your staff a little bit too, because everybody is different, right?
Hmm. Well, and I think the opportunity maybe to have more social interaction can really be beneficial. And the community access can really be beneficial as well. So I think that can make this be a really positive thing as well.
What do you say to the parents out there? You'd mentioned that a few minutes ago that as parents get older, that is a tough time for them to
Mhm.
take care of their adult children. What do you say to those parents to give them that little bit of reassurance that this is the right decision?
So our care managers are really the main conduit between the family or the guardian and the individual that we serve. And forming that relationship with the parent or guardian is really an important part of that role. And being able to communicate directly about what the plan is for their loved one, how they're doing. Of course, the parent or guardian also builds a relationship with the management at the home and the direct care staff at the home. They're able to visit at any time, and see what's going on in the home. So I think facilitating that kind of connection is really important. I also want
Absolutely.
to mention that some of the individuals we serve, the reason they need specialized residential care, one of the reasons they need specialized residential care is that they do not have a family member who's able to care for them at home. And for those individuals, they many of them would have a legal guardian, but that person may not have as much of a family relationship with them. And so in those cases, then the direct care workers and our CMH staff may be, the folks that are really helping shape what that person's care looks like.
Mhm.
And really, having longstanding relationships with these individuals too, through their lives.
Well, and that was another question. It's not where, hey, we're handing this person off to you. This is we're going to continue to be a part of the conversation and the development
Yeah.
of that individual. Is that a fair assessment? I guess.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
If you are just joining us, Betsy Reed-Henry is joining us from West Michigan Community Mental Health. I love these conversations because it gives us the opportunity to talk about services that people might not know about when it comes to CMH. And my question to you is do you think do a lot of people know that this is an option? And obviously this, we could always say yes or no depending on the scenario, but uh wherever we can get more information out to the public about this, I think is important. But do they realize that these services are available, or do you see that people can be, I hate to use the word stuck, but sometimes we do get into a pattern where we need additional help or resources, and sometimes we don't know that's out there. Is that another fair question?
Well, I think most of the time when an individual needs a level of care like this, they find us for sure because the what is happening, maybe, if the person cannot be cared for at home, then really, that cannot continue. That the person is and unfortunately sometimes there's adult protective services becomes involved because a person cannot be cared for at home.
Mhm.
I would say probably, most of the time it happens because they have connections with other people in the community, or their primary care doctor could even say, you need to see if CMH could provide some help. Um, and that's how they come to us. This is such a high level of need that I don't think people stay in their current situation very long before finding that they need some additional help in
Yeah.
this kind of situation.
And today is very different than what it used to be for these individuals, right? That today,
Absolutely. Hmm.
give
Yeah,
us an example.
sure. So, 50, 60 years ago, many folks who now live in specialized residential would have, maybe, if not all folks, would have lived in a long-term institution. The psychiatrics that used to be the backbone of the mental health service system in the entire country,
Mm,
which that was um, far overused. So there were many more people there than needed to be, but especially these individuals who needed the most intense care would have lived their lives in such institutions.
yeah.
So with the Community Mental Health Act in the 60s, that led to the system change where those institutions closed and services were brought into the communities. That's when community mental health began across the country. And the idea that individuals could live in their community, their home community, and get outpatient services and get residential services when needed, and that it's better for people to live in that kind of environment than to live in an institution.
Mm,
Some up until a few years ago, um, actually, some of the folks that we continue to serve in specialized residential actually had started out their early lives in institutions and then were moved into their home communities, into specialized residential homes. But unfortunately, a lot of those folks have left us because
yeah.
of their old age.
Well, I guess that is a question I have: is there enough resources out there for the demand?
Well, there is, we are always able to meet the needs of folks that come to us and meet the criteria and need the service. We're always able to meet those needs. It is, as everyone knows, costs of everything are getting higher.
Mhm.
Costs of running a specialized residential home are getting higher. It is costing more to keep good staff because right now folks can find jobs in a lot of places, and this is hard work. It's a very special calling and incredibly rewarding, but it's hard work. So I would say, there is challenge in the system to hire staff, to be able to make enough money that you can meet your costs. But we're very creative. We're very good at expanding our provider network and finding new opportunities when we need to. Sometimes we have found, really great homes that may be as far away from here as Kalamazoo. But if we can get somebody into that home and they can have a great experience there, then that can work too. So we always find ways to meet the need.
Good information there. Before we wrap up, who qualifies for this? Take us through, and there, and you mentioned this a few minutes ago about that somebody's going to recognize these services or kind of be informed of them if they are in that situation. But sometimes it's important. or good to be able to share who is able to qualify for them so that they can at least start the conversation with your team?
Sure. So for the people that West Michigan CMH serves, their need has to be based upon having a developmental disability or a mental illness or both. If someone needs this level of service because of traumatic brain injury or dementia, then there would be another route that they would take to get the services they need. So we're just focused on folks who have the developmental disability and the mental illness as their reason for needing the service. So that's one of the qualifying factors. Another is the level of functional need. So how many needs does this person have for support? And then also, what natural supports do they have available to them? If they
Mm,
have a family who's capable of providing the support, or friends who are capable of providing the support, then they may not qualify for this level of care because really it's best for them to stay at home. Um,
mm.
so those are the three main things. Then there's a very detailed set of assessments that we go through to find what is the medically necessary level of care for the person and therapeutically appropriate care for the person to see if it is specialized residential.
Well, we are glad that you provide these services. I think that's important. It sounds like you have a good flow in place of getting people quickly into these situations, but also in a way that they feel comfortable, that they're able to manage it, that others are able to help them, and obviously there's a lot of care and passion that goes into this, especially when it comes to the providers that are out there. I think it says a lot. So we want to make sure that we give them some attention to this morning because what they do, not a lot of us can do. I mean, you know that as just as much as I do. Uh, Betsy, we appreciate you being a part of the conversation. I know people can reach out to CMH at 800 992 2061 for more information and to start this conversation. I would not do justice if I didn't ask you this question. Did we forget anything that would be important for those that are watching or listening to know about this morning?
I'd say one more thing about specialized residential is it is a Medicaid service. So individuals who have this level of need, often due to their disability, will qualify for Medicaid. Just another example of why Medicaid is such an important program in keeping our community healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Betsy, we appreciate you and the team at CMH, and we love having these conversations. I think it helps just to get a little bit more information out into the hands of those that need it, that know somebody potentially that could use it, and that they can take action and reach out to you for that next step. So, thank you for being part of the conversation today.